So you got your first rental, you found your first qualified tenant. Now what do you do next, right? So moving your next tenant in, right? So obviously you got to sign some sort of documents, and depending on what state you're in, you're gonna have different forms to fill out, right? So for example, most of the time you fill out a lease, which states really, all your terms and who it's between, and the monthly rate and late fees and key fees and everything, right? Pages and pages of all sorts of legal mumbo jumbo. You do a lead-based paint disclosure and an inventory checklist, right? So lead-based paint disclosure pretty much says that you as the landlord have or don't have knowledge of there being lead-based paint. You always don't have knowledge because, well, you might have knowledge, then you check the other one. But obviously you gotta check whatever one applies to your condition. And the inventory checklist is pretty much just a sheet with where a tenant can go through and note damage to their unit when they move in that they find, so that way when they move out, they wouldn't get charged for it. Ideally, it's going to be blank, right? Because you don't want there to be any issues with the unit when they move in, right? So you fill out those documents. We always do those all electronically signed, just because there's way too many to deal with if you're hand signing copies. So we have them electronically sign everything, send them over. Well, once they sign everything, it gets sent back to us. This way we know that everything gets signed correctly where we want it to, like initialed every bottom of the page and all that stuff that lawyers tell you to do. And then we get a copy, we save it in our property management software, and they get a copy for their records, right? So easy squeezy. And then for our last sheet, this is like the one sheet that we actually do give them. It's like a new tenant checklist, right? And the new tenant checklist pretty much answers all their questions. And I mean, everything from like garbage, utilities, contacts for whatever, right? What they do in this case, what they do in that case, kind of just tells them like what any questions that a tenant has that pops up. If it's not on the sheet, we kind of add it for them to be, right? It's easier for them to just give them the sheet, and then if they ever have anything, they can just reference the sheet, and then instead of like giving us a call, right? Plus, it's kind of nice to know like, okay, I just moved in here, I got to call this place to get my gas or electric on, or gas or whatever, right? Garbage days this day, or maybe the dumpster gets picked up this day, so like, whatever. So they can plan accordingly, right? So like I said, we do all this stuff electronically because we don't want to deal with stacks and stacks of paper in an office, right? And also, one thing to remember, if you're getting your new tenant, once you get all your leases and lead-based paints and like all those forms signed and like over with, what we do is we always do security deposit, whatever that is, first month's rent, and if you have a pet fee or whatever, we always collect all that on move-in, unless they like reserve it ahead of time, right? So then we take a deposit. But anyway, we collect all those funds on move-in day when they get the keys, in certified check only, right? No personal checks, none of that. It has to be certified checks. And there's multiple reasons for that, but that's not the point of this video. So that is what you do. Once you finally find that tenant, you sign all your papers, you collect your money, and then you buy 1,000 million more units and do the same thing over and over again till you either reach your goal or set a new goal for more. So hope this video helped, and if you have any questions, let me know. Take it easy.